Here's Hazel Wild from Lanterns on the Lake.
So you won't be in London when they make the announcement. We'll be
here in Newcastle, and at the minute we're in this local lockdown situation. So not that we're expecting to win, but if, I don't know, by some miracle we did, I don't know what that would mean. Like, if we'd go anywhere or what would happen.
So you live in Newcastle itself?
Yeah.
And at the moment there's a lockdown there. There's a local lockdown in that neck of the woods.
Yeah, well, I actually live in a town called North Shields, which is like just outside of Newcastle. It's North Tyneside. So we're part of like one of, I think it's 7 local councils that have all gone into this local lockdown. Yeah. You wouldn't know it, like, to walk around. It just seems exactly the same. Yeah.
I don't know how you feel. I mean, how have you felt just on a personal level since lockdown? Have you been taking in your stride, or have you been a bit fearful or a bit worried? Or
I mean, I feel kind of guilty saying it, really, but the first time round, I quite, there were aspects of it that I quite liked.
Yeah. And me.
and I do feel a bit bad about that, because I know a lot of people have really suffered, like health-wise and financially and all the rest of it. And we did suffer. We had to cancel tours and things like that.
Yeah.
And I was worried for a lot of people, like who were having to shield and stuff like that. But there were things about just like that kind of slowing things right down that I liked, and I loved not having to make commitments to like socialize with people and stuff like that. I know it sounds weird, but I just really liked just having to stay in my own little bubble and slow things right down. I think this time round it feels a little bit more bleak, because you start to think, oh shit, is this what life's going to be like now? And is this going to last for, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years?
But let's try and look on the bright side a little bit, shall we? And obviously to be nominated for Mercury is fantastic. It must have been, when you heard about that, was that a surprise, or how did you take the announcement?
I mean, it was really unexpected. I mean, I didn't think it was impossible. Having said that, like, I didn't think it was completely impossible that could happen. But at the same time, it was completely unexpected. And, all the kind of predictions for who would be nominated, I don't think we were probably in there for a lot of people. I think our album was, fair to say, like a bit of an underdog in this, and like maybe flew underneath the radar for a lot of people. Like, I don't think many people had heard the record or were aware of it. But I think with the Mercury's, like, it doesn't really matter how many people have heard of the band already, or how much hype your albums have or had, or how much press it has, or anything like that, because they're just, you're going in it and you've got just as much chance of everybody else, and like you just hope that like your work will speak for itself, really. So it was unexpected, and we were like giddy, obviously, and emotional, and there was a bit of disbelief, and it was weird, because like, what we would naturally want to do is all go to the pub and like celebrate and hug each other and stuff, but obviously we weren't able to do that. So that made it feel quite strange. It's I don't know, it's felt like we're kind of, this thing is happening, but for us nothing's really changed, because we're still at home. We've not gone anywhere. There's no award ceremony. All the kind of press stuff has been via Zoom or on the phone, and like, I know it is real, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel.
So just a bit of background then, because for the purposes of radio, for people who may not be familiar with you, you've been going for quite a while now, 2007-ish, I believe. From the Newcastle area. It was basically you, Hazel Wild, Paul Gregory, Oliver Ketteringham, Bob Allen, and Angela Chan. Is that still the current lineup?
Yeah, for the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years or something like that, it's been this lineup. Yeah, so we started back in like 2007. I think we didn't really play a gig until the following year.
Yeah.
And we just started by kind of putting our own gigs on and putting our own EPs out and sending them to radio and blogs and stuff like that, and just try to build a bit of a following that way. And then we signed to Bella Union in 2010, and the following year put out the first album,
which was Gracious Tide, Take Me Home.
Yeah.
And you've had a couple of albums since then, Until the Colours Run, which is 2013, Beings, 2015. Then you did a live record with the Royal Northern Symphonia, which was a one-off gig, wasn't it? One-off performance, I believe. And that was
we played a couple of times with Royal Northern Symphonia, but that was but the one that was put out on record was a big hometown gig, which was at the Sage.
Yeah.
Recorded that and put it out. Well, we released it digitally to begin with, but a lot of people were kind of hassling us, wanting us to put it out on vinyl. So we did met up with the orchestra a few times. Well, we worked with somebody called Fiona Bryce, who helped us with the arrangements for the orchestra to play with us. So yeah, that was like an incredible experience, because you know, when you're writing a song at home in your bedroom or whatever, like on an acoustic guitar or something, you never expect that one day a 40-piece orchestra will be playing that with you. So it was a really special, incredible night for us.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. But shortly after that, you took a bit of a break, didn't you?
I mean, I don't think we sort of didn't like sit down and say, let's have a break, but it was almost unspoken that like we weren't going to like jump into the next record really quickly, because we didn't feel a massive rush to do that, really.
So do you think it helped having that semi-break?
Definitely.
Yeah,
I would say it's probably, kind of creatively speaking, probably the most healthy thing that we could have done. In the past, we've always jumped into the next album straight away. It just meant that there was no pressure, and then because of that, like as a result of not having any pressure to write any songs, I ended up writing loads of songs, which then ended up becoming the album. We had quite a clear idea about what we wanted this album to sound like. It's incredible to work with Bella Union, our label, and they give us a lot of freedom to just do what we want, really, which we really appreciate. I think the majority of the songs on this album I had written on my own, just either on acoustic or on piano, and had the kind of the structure and the bones for what the song was, and like the all the lyrics and that kind of thing. And then we spent quite a bit of time like stripping the songs back in a way, taking a lot of things out, so that we made sure the only things that were in there, the only melodies that you heard, were there to serve the song. I think in the past we've maybe cluttered the songs a little bit, or added a lot of layers that weren't necessary. And we wanted to avoid doing that this time. And I think we did.
Can you tell me about Before the Excavate? What that is about from your perspective?
Yeah, so it's I suppose in a way it's like a Last Night on Earth kind of song. There's a lot of ideas in there to do with just how I was feeling at the time of writing it, like this kind of threat of climate change and really messed up world leaders and things like that. A lot of things in the world just feeling like everything felt unstable and like almost apocalyptic in a way. And the song is kind of, I would say, a romantic song about, kind of saying, if the planet's going to hell anyway, then let's live for tonight and do all the things that make us feel alive.
And the album title, Spook the Herd, what does that mean, and why did you choose that as the album title?
So there's a line in the first song. I guess we thought that line and that phrase distilled a lot of the themes going on through the album about that kind of disorientation that a lot of people are feeling, and kind of the role that social media plays in that as well, and how unnerving that is. And I guess we just felt that kind of represented a lot of the themes in one sentence.
And it sort of feels quite prescient now, doesn't it? I mean, obviously you didn't intend it at the time, but the herd definitely got spooked in March and April.
Definitely. I couldn't believe it when the phrase herd immunity started making the rounds. I was just like, no, please don't.